Okay, welcome back, guys. So I think welcome back to another Not So Late Night Show, and I think this time around we wanted to take the Not So Late Night Show and tweak a little bit since it's a new year, right? We wanted to infuse it with another kind of flavor. Previously, it has always been about stock analysis and investing insights, but I think one aspect that I think we think that the Not So Late Night Show can actually amp it up would be the so-called how to apply good habits or good insights and also good way of life kind of so-called schedules and also stuff like that for when we get it from good books and then apply it to making ourselves a better investor. So I think we've recently, Chunbing, you have come across a book and you feel that this book, although it doesn't really touch a lot on investing itself, but you are able to extract the essence and the learnings and the so-called insights from it to help you become a better investor. So shall we deep dive into what book is it and how has it changed your mentality and your habits?
Yeah, I think today's I'm going to cover this book. I think this book is quite popular if you check out Amazon's. I think they are in the top, one of the top selling books for years can count for years already. So it's basically a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I found out after I finished this book, I found out it's quite interesting, and then it can make me do a lot of relations to my personal habits, and most importantly is it also can relate back to investments, because it's all about setting up a good habit and then you repeat it, then you can turn this thing into an effective result, right? So one of the key concepts that actually come out by these guys is basically they tell you to forget about setting goals. I think a lot of people, when we grow up, one of the key thing is you must set goals.
Yep.
For example, when you are in childhood time, maybe your parents want you to set goals. Let's say to score a good result,
Yep.
or to complete certain talent class, and so on. It's all about setting goals, and then these goals must be specific, and then measurable, and so on. But
Yep.
this author actually bring up a lot of problem when you just focus on setting goal, right? So in short, right, both winner and loser set the same goal. So for example, me and you wanted to be rich through investment. We have the same goal. It's
Yep.
quite simple.
All
I
right.
wanted
It's
to
quite
invest
straightforward.
1,000 and then I get 10,000 back as a returns. No difference. Both set the same goal, but then what is the things that differentiate between the winner and loser, right? And then secondly is setting goal is about a very temporary change. So for example, you wanted to set a goal that make sure your room is always, in a tidy mode. Maybe you spend about 30 minutes in the weekends when you wake up on Saturday's morning, and then you spend time to clean it up. But if you didn't change your habits, your room will become messy when you start to return back to work Monday, Tuesday, and then it become messy. And then you need to spend 30 minutes again every single week just to clean up your room because you want to hit your goal of making the room tidy. So it's temporarily, not permanent, right? And then third one, I think this echo me the most is he's saying setting goal it will restrict your happiness, because you wanted to hit something, a lot of people taught us you must go through the hardship, and then only
Yeah.
you hit the goal. Let's say I wanted to slim down. I want to slim down by 5 kg. Only when I hit the 5 kg, I will feel the
Happy.
happiness.
Yeah.
And then it can be as short as like 10 minutes, then everything back to normal. And then it's so short, you put so many efforts just to hit the goal, maybe for weeks, but then you just feel the happiness for about 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
it receives a lot of happiness. And then maybe in the long terms, setting goal is not something that you can follow through because it's hard lah. It's always about putting up a lot of effort, and then
Sacrifice,
yeah,
progress just to get to the end goal, which may not be forever lasting.
So this guy actually come out, one of the key concept is instead of setting goals, you should form a system. And then how to actually set up an effective system is to set up an effective habit. And then essentially for you to set up an effective habit, he broken down into 4 major steps. So in order for you to, let's say you wanted to slim down, this is something that you wanted to achieve because you wanted to be a healthier person. For you to start the habit, the first thing it must give you a cue. You need to see it. For example, you see someone posted, some of your friends posted their photo when they do workout in gyms. So this actually gives you a moment, hey, I wanted to be someone like them as well. So this is the cue. And then because of that, you have craving. This is second step, which is craving for you to do something. The something is like the third step, which we call it as response. And then when you have the craving, you started to hit the gym, and then you woke up. The last thing that you get is, of course, reward because you feel happier, you feel healthier after you woke out. So basically, it's this 4 step. If you can follow through and make it in a loop that recurring habits that you do every single day, eventually it will become an habit and it will build inside your memories. You just follow through naturally without having like you need to set a goal and then you need to follow it through, right? So in short, when you wanted to start any habits, you can just follow these 4 steps, and then this is the few keyword. So you wanted to have the cue that come to you easily. Of course, you need to make it obvious. Let's say you wanted to set up a habit of doing workout starting next week. In order for you to remember, you have these things you wanted to do. Let's say you wanted to swim, start a swimming habits at a condo. You just put your goggle inside your living room so that every time you walk out from your rooms, you saw it and then you remember you wanted to start the activities. So the second one is about you have the craving, and then in order for you to do it, it need to be somehow become more attractive lah. So let's say if you like to share your lifestyle in social medias, maybe when you go for a swimming sessions, you before you start it, you just take a photos and then just share it out with your friends and families, and then this maybe is an attractive activity for you, and then you can follow it through. And then the third one is you put up an actions. Of course, you don't make it difficult. You should make it easy so that you don't give up halfway. Let's say swimming is the thing that I mentioned just now. Don't just set a goal like you need to do 5 days a week. Maybe just start with 1 day a week, and then once you get familiar with it, only you extend the session. And then lastly is make it satisfying. This is very important. You do some things at the end, it must give you something back, because without that, definitely you cannot follow it through, and then this habit will not be formed, right? So I find it quite interesting is because if you broke this down by steps, it's quite easy for you to start anything you wanted to do. You wanted to be healthier, you wanted to become richer. You can just try with these 4 steps, and then it's quite easy for you to find a formula or a clear step by step to follow through. But of course, this is about setting up habits. Of course, we should aim for the good one. The second one is, of course, if you wanted to get rid of the bad habits, it's just another way around. Instead of make it obvious, you make it invisible so that you forget about the thing that you wanted to do. For example, you like to eat potato chips, then you just hide it in the corner, or you don't buy it at all. And then of course the next one is make it unattractive, make it difficult to execute. Let's say somehow you still purchase the potato chips, so you hide it in the corner that you need to bring up your small staircase and then to find it. So it's hard to achieve, and then you forget about it. And then the last one is make it unsatisfying. So maybe you need to set up a rules with your roommate or whatnot. If he found out you actually take up the potato chips, then he will fine you. So you need to set up all these rules to help you to get rid of habits. right? So this pretty much sums up everything about this book in a very high level or brief manners. So when we want to relate setting habits back to investment, this is one of the sentence actually shared by the author, which I find it very interesting. He's saying your wealth is basically a lagging behavior of your financial habits. Meaning, if you set up a good financial habits, and it will act like a system for you to actually accumulate your wealth. So if you have bad financial habits, of course you cannot get rich easier, because along the way you just will spend it without you knowing, and then it will actually cost you a lot of drawback lah. So maybe I wanted to check with Jupan, do you have any good financial habits that you wanted to share and you find it effective for you?
Right. Just a record that I never really went through the book, right? After you went through the so-called basics of what Atomic Habits is all about, I was also thinking like how I subconsciously applied Atomic Habits to make me a better investor, even though right now it's not a full-time endeavor yet, but good. I think something worth mentioning is that with someone which has no financial degree or investment related degree, I graduated with a science degree, but I still managed to find time and effort after working hours to deep dive and self-learn about investing, and set up KayaPlus. And not only we manage a website and write articles, we also have the opportunity to share some of our findings and analysis on YouTube as well. And one of the, I think, what actually made me utilize or practice the Atomic Habits when it comes to adopting investing is that we talk about just now cue, craving, response, and reward, right? So I think to go back to the so-called end goal that everyone sets when they eventually start venturing into investing, that everyone wants to get rich or obtaining a certain financial freedom through investment, which is mostly going to be a passive form of reward. We don't want to spend more time. We want to spend time into doing things that we like, be it going on a vacation or be it spending time with family. That is the so-called goal that you mentioned just now. But before you actually make a goal sustainable, right, a long-lasting kind of a reward and achievement, you still need to build what you say, some sort of like a funnel or a system to help you ensure that you stay within this so-called discipline kind of habit. So Q, for me, it was very obvious. If I wanted to become financially stable and independent, I would only need to look at who are actually the richest person now in the world. What are they doing? I just need to copy them. Well, to be fair, most of the so-called richest people in the planet, I think almost all, if you look at top 10, most of them are business owners, meaning to say that they have ownership to company shares, and this company value as they grow throughout the years, whenever they grow their revenue and profit, somehow holding on to this company shares make them rich. And only one person that managed to so-called not do it on a full-time basis by running company operations is this man called Warren Buffett, right? He just is very good in not only managing his own company, but he also utilizes the company funds to invest into other companies. So that was a cue that I got, right? If you want to become rich, just learn from someone who is already top 10 richest people around the world, get some insights and tips what they are doing, and then just follow them. And the craving is make it attractive. So for me, it was I wanted to enter and start investing, but I don't know how, right? So I need to actually go through some sort of so-called statements, financial statements, learn how to understand company business model. That become the so-called tough part initially, because it's outside your circle of competence. But at the end of the day, it's really how you look at it. You need to adopt the kind of habit that you're actually looking and learning new things every day and try to make it as attractive as possible. So I eventually went from learning something outside every day, every single day, and then it becomes some sort like some sort of like going to school back again, but now it's just a self-learning kind of mechanism. Then slowly, when you eventually build your circle of competence, it becomes easier to scale up your learning process. Meaning to say that the moment you understand how a certain normal company works, you can actually tap onto the so-called initial knowledge and then learn other tougher parts of it. And I think the reward part and the satisfying part, because when you're investing, you're not going in and out of the market. You don't buy into a company share and see go up 10% and then sell it. That would be what you say a non-sustainable goal. But when you buy into good companies that continue to grow, continue to compound your earnings every time, when you see the share price going up, and it doesn't seem like it will come down, forever, or it will slowly still go up in the near term, even to the mid-term kind of horizon, then every time you see your portfolio grow a little by little throughout the years, then that would be so-called, I would say, more sustainable kind of happiness and achievements that you can actually achieve by doing long-term or long-term sustainable kind of investment to put atomic habits into a certain kind of a practice, in my opinion. I don't know whether how do you actually see it and applying it to your investment insight and strategy.
For me, it's very simple. I think at one night suddenly I decided I need to start to do investing.
Okay.
So because instead of like the gold thing, I wanted to be financially free in a way. So in order to achieve that, I think one investment is one of the way. And then how I force myself to start following these 4 steps is, the first thing is I downloaded the few investment related applications. Of course, beside the trading app, is about like your Bloomberg apps and so on. I make it on the first few pages of my mobile app. So I make it obvious.
Cool.
When I scroll left, this thing come out, then I click. And then I make sure I don't disable the notifications for certain apps. For example, I will disable the notification for Facebook because sometimes it's a bit annoying. But annoying one is actually not Facebook, but mainly from the marketplace like Shopee, Lazada. I will disable it.
Okay.
So like getting rid of the bad habit, I make it invisible so that I don't see all the promotion and I won't buy something not necessary. So this is how I make it obvious. The second part is of course make it attractive. Personally, I like to observe stuff, and then from what I observe, I will have some sort of thinking on what will happen next. So if this thing happens and then it matches my prediction, I will find it, this is something exciting, and also it will give me a lot of pleasure. So this is how I make it attractive. So I always try to form a thesis about, let's say, a company or whatnot, and try to predict it as a game lah. So I make it like a game. And then the third one is when I wanted to start, I make it. I mean, it took me a while before I actually invest in the first stocks. And then when I look back, I think if you haven't started to do an investment, maybe how to make it easy is important. First thing is, of course, you should go into the market that's closer to you. Let's say we are Malaysian, of course, the Malaysian stocks is something closer to you. And how to make it easy is, of course, let's say bookmark the top 5 company that you know how it works. Maybank, Nestle, you drink Milo, something that you can relate, and it's very easy for you to. So Maybank, and then you check out the app. Wow, this seems to be okay, and then you can easily relate, and then you can without going through a lot of details about the annual reports, you have confidence and you click the buy buttons. Instead of you the first stock, you go into something like tech stock, you don't understand at all about securities, then you will give up. So that one is make it easy. The last part is about make it satisfying. I think it's very important. Besides, you wanted to be financially free, but every time you get a dividends, you don't do something and then you force yourself to reinvest. For example, sometimes it's a bit hard to sustain the whatever thing you try to do, because it seems like you put so much effort, finally you get the dividends, you get some capital gain, but then you don't want to sell it or whatnot. You didn't feel it, and then you at one day you might give up. So maybe a little bit of the dividend returns, you can use it to buy something that you like. For example, instead of going for kopitiam, you go for a slightly better cafe as a reward when you receive the dividends. So this few thing, when you form an effective loop, obvious, you can scroll the one slide away, you see the investment app, and then how to make it attractive is I mean, this is very personal. You need to find your way. The one is, of course, make it easy, something that's related to you can understand the company. The third one is you do all these things, it must come with a reward. So this is how I somehow set up and now become a habit of myself. So I think this pretty much sums up what I'm trying to share today, but I don't know whether Jupan, you want to add on anything before we conclude?
Yeah, maybe I think before we conclude, maybe since Atomic Habits, the so-called good habit creation cycle, it's such a in a way such a sustainable and good way forward for, you know, whether for new investors or even experienced investors to improve themselves. Maybe can we do a so-called some sort of like practice that how KayaPlus can also, you know, utilize this good habit and make investors or retail investors, our readers and our subscribers, make their life easier. Like, what's the cue and what's the craving that can solve, what's the response we can give them, and then what's the reward we can also provide to our readers and subscribers who are reading our articles and also listening to our podcast today. What's your take on that?
I think if you guys appreciate our content, the first thing, of course, you should subscribe to our channels if this is the first time you listen to
yeah. Make it easy, make it obvious. Every time we have a new video, a new podcast, you'll definitely get notified and, you know, get a little bit of learning and a little bit of lesson from it, right? What about the second one, the craving part?
Yeah, I think a lot of time we are at this era, everything is about fast, short, which I think if you wanted to be a good investor, you're just tapping on a lot of information. It's like one sentence and then to tell you what happened to this company. Sometimes it will lead you to make bad decisions. So I think this still not something that we are trying to do. That's why you see we still write articles. Instead of try to make a very short, like 5 minutes video and then condense everything, it's a bit hard,
for you
to follow through. Like when I read these books, of course you can go on YouTube. There are a lot of like summary 10 minutes, and then you can understand how Atomic's habits, what is the content inside it. But I will recommend you to actually read the whole book. Else, you listen to the podcast or whatever YouTube's videos, you will feel like you learn something. I promise you, in a week, you'll forget every single thing. So this is, I think, the drawback. That's why we still go with very traditional way. We try to populate data, try to come out with all these things for you. It may not be the most attractive one, but we think it's the effective one, at least for ourselves, and then we will try to recommend it to you.
Yep. And the third one I think we can really relate is because, right, if you are newbie investors, you don't know where to start, and particularly if you do not even have any knowledge on how to read statements and analyze companies, I think we really make it very easy, right? I think even though our articles and our content, we might put in, you know, technical jargons, but we try to explain the jargons before we use it or after we use it. Say, for example, if you are curious on which bank is actually growing the fastest, sometimes we also do comparison which banks are actually growing the fastest, which bank actually, you know, outperform. And I think the latest one I can relate off is that we talk about Google and Facebook when they release their results, right? We actually did a pretty much exclusive and very clear-cut comparison between Meta platforms and Google, right, or Alphabet. So we make it very easy, even though you do not catch the technical jargons, the graph is there. You can actually take some cue on what is happening on both companies and what companies are actually much more prospective, and also in terms of valuation, which company is cheaper and deserve your attention. So I think that part we actually also succeed in making investment easier to understand. What about the reward part on make it satisfying? How do we actually come in place?
I think this is the tough part. But for us, it is quite easy. Is when we share our contents, we may not the most popular one, let's say in this space, but every time when we see some comment that they say, thanks for your contents, it's good, it's details. I think this is what keep us going. To be fair, I mean, we set up KayaPlus when we have a full-time job. Sometimes it's a bit taxing. That's why when you form a habit, the reward part is important. So every comment by you guys actually keep us going. Be it like, share or whatnot. This is really important. I mean, for us, I mean personally, this keep us going. But then for you guys where you wanted to start a habit, especially on the financial side, please make sure you have some sort of reward element in place. Don't just work hard and then to achieve something, but then didn't reward something back to you. It can sustain. You will find out you can burn out easily, and then eventually you give up this habit, and then whatever thing that you put up may be effective for the first 3 months, but then it cannot become something built inside your brain in the coming years.
So I guess that's about it, right? How a simple formula, sometimes common sense, but we do not actually practice it and make it a hard habit in our lives. Then you can see why some people tend to overachieve and some people stay at the same condition even throughout the year. So at the end of the day, I think building sustainable good habits is one of the ways forward, be it on a normal day-to-day kind of habit, or even when it comes investors' mindset and habit as well. And not only on a personal level, but also as an investing-centric platform and education company, we also strive to do the same to provide you guys, our readers and our watchers, the best when it comes to spending time into upgrading and learning investing related knowledge as well. So that's about it for today. I hope you really enjoy this new format of Not So Late Night Show. Let us know in the comments if we should continue bringing up good books and try to apply it in a more investing related perspective, or you would like us to go back into studying and analyzing companies, which we are also able to do so. But I think it's a new kind of perspective that we are trying to revamp and bring to Not So Late Night Show, so that if you want analysis, we have it in the articles. If you want to prompt your mind to become a better person and adopt better habits, this is also one of the ways that we can help you to do so. So I think that's about it. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Have a safe stay safe. It's still a little bit dangerous outside right now, even though that the war with COVID is almost over. But stay safe, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye bye.